Hello and welcome back to some more Bitburners. So in the last video, I showed you guys the high-level plan on how to modularize our launch fleet script and also walk you through the bookkeeper script. So I went ahead and implemented, I guess, the rest of the services. And as you can see here, this modularized launch fleets is behaving the same way as the original launch fleets was. If we go to Warmonger, as you can see here, it's generating 4.6 billion per second. And it's not because the script is much more efficient, it's because I did some leveling up over the past few days. So as you can see here, I'm already at level 2926 and still growing and currently trying to get through that Daedalus faction to get the red pill to progress the game. So if you guys haven't been installing augments as you were watching my videos, then I do advise you that you should probably do that. Alright, so what we're going to be doing today is I'm going to be walking you guys through how to implement the last two services, so the strategist and then the warmonger. And then in the next video, I'm going to be showing you guys how to put all of that together into the captain script. Before we get to the code, I just want to, I guess, go over the advantage of doing this, doing the modularization here. So if we look at the memory of the bookkeeper script, it costs 3.6 gigabytes. And what this means is that it costs 3.6 gigabytes to support the logic that it has. And it's probably going to grow more if we add in the logic of the, let's say, the strategist here, and then other stuff that we're gonna need for the upgraded launch fleet script. The key advantage of modularizing our code like this and then putting them into individual services is the fact that we can actually reuse some of the outputs that these services produces. So if we look at probe here, it only costs 1.6 gigabytes to run that probe. And then this probe can basically do the same thing as our bookkeeper script. And then it can also produce the same thing as our strategist script. And this is a very big win, mainly because what this means is that we can create much more complex algorithms using multiple reusable data from multiple services with very tiny RAM cost. And this can be extended to much more powerful scripts. Um, so yeah, so that's the key advantage. If you don't understand it, that's okay. But for me, that's why I really like this modularized idea. Okay, cool. So let's jump into the code. So we have I guess I just want to walk you guys through the some of the changes that I've made to the port utilities and bookkeeper scripts, so that you guys get up to date to I guess the changes that I've made since the last video. So for port utilities, I added a new field or a new argument called request ID into the push to input port and then the check for event functions. And what this request ID does is that it identifies where the request came from, so the origin. And this allows us to sift through all the stuff within our queue service and then deliver the right response to the right services. And this is kind of weird implementation. If you guys can figure out how to do this a little bit better, that's good as well. But this is the method that worked for me. Essentially, whenever we push something to the input port, we pass in the request ID, and then from that request ID, we construct the payload from that. And then moving down to the check for event, we now have this request ID, which is defaults to any. So any is a keyword which identifies that this script takes in any request of this event type. So things like bookkeeper or strategist, those doesn't really have a request origin. So it needs to be able to take in requests from anywhere. And then yeah, that's why I created this request any default value to support that. And then where this is applied is down here. So if the request isn't any, and the request ID doesn't match the payload request, then we just skip it. Otherwise, we read it from the queue, and then we pass that back to whoever's calling it. And then down here, we also created the uid function. So I actually don't know how this is implemented. All I know is I copied it from this guy here and then pasted it here, and then it works. Usually what I do is that there's an npm library called uid, and I generally just import that into my own projects to generate those. But since I can't import third-party libraries, then I had to do this weird copy pasty method here. But if you don't know what a UID is, it's essentially just a unique ID that you can use as a request ID. So that's function is there as a helper function for I guess communicating with the ports. Moving on to the bookkeeper script, the first thing that I guess changed is the delay. So the delay is now passed onto the script so that the captain can tweak its values from, I guess, the list of arguments whenever we spin up all the dependencies. And then moving down here, so the request ID is now passed in to this respond to request function. And then from this request ID, we then push that response to the input port. So yeah, that's about it. So those are all the changes there. Let's move into the strategist here. So again, the strategist is responsible for identifying our potential targets, prioritizing the targets depending on the revenue yield, and then also creating the requirements for the target node. And essentially, most of this is a copy paste from the launch fleet script. So anything relating to grabbing the targets from the find target script, and then anything relating to creating the requirements from the launch fleet script was copied over. So get delay for action sequence is the same, get max threads is the same, get strategy is the same, get requirements is the same, get node info is different. So before we had a lot of other stuff extracted from the node, but we just changed it so that it only extracts the max money, the revenue yield, and then also the requirements. Get comparator is the same, and then get potential targets is the same. So if you want an in-depth explanation of those functions, definitely go back to when I talked about creating the launch fleet script. So I believe that it's titled maximize your attack coordination or something like that. I'm just gonna link it. Um, but yeah, so if you want those, then definitely go rewatch those. I guess what's new here is these two functions here. So for the response to request and then I guess the main logic here. So what happens is that we first check the event. So check the queue for any request event. And then if there's any event, we then grab the request ID, and much like the bookkeeper, we pass that request ID to the respond to request function. And then inside the respond to request, we grab all the potential targets. So we grab scan the network, and then grab all the targets, sort them by revenue yield, and then grab everything about it. And then we push that to the port as a response to the request ID. And then whoever's calling this will receive it at a later point. Next one is the warmonger script. So as we recall, the warmonger is responsible for launching the attacks. So it launches all our pirate scripts and then deploys them to different servers. And then the request and response events is request attack and then response attack. And then obviously some virus information here. Essentially, this log ship action was copied and pasted from the launch fleet script over, so there's definitely nothing different about it. We basically, how this works is that we display a different, I guess, error message or variant, depending on what sort of action the ship will take, and we print that out onto the console. This wage war function was the function inside our main loop of the launch fleet script, but it's just extracted and put into a function here, and then at the end of it we then just respond to the initial request as a way to notify whoever sent it, as this request is already finished. And then moving into the main loop here, we first grab the event from the queue, and if there's anything, then we grab the request ID from the event, and then we grab the payload, and then this payload contains all the target information as well as the fleet's information. And then we wage war on that target using those fleets, and then that's when we execute those attacks. So yeah, so that's about it. So what's gonna happen is that I'm gonna be generating as much videos as I can over the weekend, and then uploading them in sequence starting from Monday to the rest of the week, depending on how many videos I produce. And then one of those videos will contain the comments, and it's generally the first one, so the Monday one. With that said, let's jump into the comments. Alright, so looks like we have quite a bit of new ones, and considering it's been a few days since I've checked the comments, then it definitely does make sense. So the first one is from Maxime Cloutier. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that right. And he says, "Good job in the Bitburner number 11 video." Thank you. Appreciate the encouragement here. Next one is from the Mithrandir09 from Bitburner number 15. He says, "Can you show how much money your scripts and hacknet nodes currently make? I'm about 500 hack level and also use distributed workers and want a good baseline to tweak my strategy for tasks to do." First off, my current online production isn't a really good baseline, mainly because I've already leveled up quite a lot since the start of this game. If you want me to show you, yeah, sure. Let's go to the, I guess, active scripts and go to the warmonger here. And as you can see, it's currently generating 4.6 billion per second. And then in terms of our hacknet nodes, it's currently producing 1.2 million per second, and I have 43 maxed out hacknet nodes. Yeah, so that's essentially it. But again, this is not a good baseline, mainly because I've been, I guess, leveling up, so installing a bunch of augments to increase my multiplier. So this is my stats at the moment. And then I'm currently at level 2928. But if you want a benchmark, basically when I first created the launch fleet script, I was about the same level as you, maybe a little bit more. And I had no augments installed, so everything was at the base multiplier. And what that script was netting is around 350 to 500 million, maybe a bit less per second. So if you can, I guess, beat that, then yeah, good job. So yeah, so that's the benchmark. Alright, next one is from Michael Shapkins, and he says, "It would be very interesting to play the same game but with real coins. Reduce the amount of income received in the game, provide security, link the game directly to the blockchain with low cost transactions and big throughput, create a liquidity pool later, huge interest for people to learn and earn, profit equals billions of real money. Are you in game?" I'm definitely playing Bitburner right now, but I love the enthusiasm about this. And then another one from Michael Shapkin, and he says, "Hello, pirates." I don't think my channel is called Pirates. I haven't decided that yet. But yeah, welcome to the channel, Michael. Next one is from Homie Gaming, and he says, "I get unexpected token 7-2. Sorry we can't be more helpful. I have no idea what I did wrong." This was from the first Bitburner video. I think I already addressed this issue from another commenter before, but essentially what the two numbers mean is that the first one is the row, the second one is the column. Essentially what this means is that you probably have a weird character at line 7, and you probably need to check that. But feel free to go to my GitHub page and then use that as reference code to see what you missed or have added incorrectly. Next one is from Just Vibe from Bitburner number 2. He says, "Hey, what's the best free site to learn how to code? I'm doing well in the game, but I don't understand it well enough to write my own." First off, that's totally fine. There's really no pressure for you to write your own scripts. If you, I guess, can't, it's good that you're looking at other people, how other people play, and then that's essentially how you learn. And in terms of what's the best free site to learn how to code, just Google best free coding lessons, and you should be able to see a whole lot of, I guess, results online. And to be honest with you, the best free site doesn't really exist. All that matters is that you actually start. So feel free to pick one and then just stick to that. And if you stick to that, then you keep working at it, you keep practicing, and then if it doesn't work, feel free to just scrap it. If you don't understand something, then feel free to note it down, and then try to, I guess, start small, create projects about those things that you don't understand until you're comfortable with it, and then only do one thing at a time. So focus on one thing at a time. So for example, if you don't understand arrays, maybe create an exercise for you to practice arrays. And then as soon as you feel comfortable with the concept, like you can do it in your sleep, then you move on to the next one, and then you move the next one, and the next one, and then keep practicing. And then next thing you know, you're basically doing everything on your own. Next one is from me. So it says the auto upgrade server was fixed by Ricky Jens. Oh yeah, that's right. So I remember that there was a few, I guess, commenters from the past that had issues with the auto upgrade server script. I initially thought that it was a hardware issue, but turns out it wasn't. And whoever commented about having issues before, Ricky is your savior. Let me walk you through what Ricky did to fix this. Alright, so here we are in the auto purchase script, and then if we scroll down to the auto upgrade servers, it used to look like this. So else if can purchase server. And what this means is that if you don't have enough money to purchase all 25 servers, it means that it's gonna get stuck in this infinite loop, which is then gonna freeze your game. So what Ricky did was he changed this into an else statement like that, and then he added a wait here like so. And what this means is that if the player still needs to purchase a bunch of servers, this script will now wait until the player has enough money to purchase that server. Otherwise, it's gonna sleep. So that's essentially the fix. And then he did this for both auto purchase server and then the APS Lite script. So again, I'm not my scripts aren't perfect, so don't take it as a gospel. Use it as a reference for your own code. Um, because I do make mistakes, and everyone is welcome to change my code if you see something wrong, because I do make mistakes. Alright, so next one is from Just Vibe again. And he says, I'm a new subscriber. Thanks for great videos and sharing your script. No problem, Just Vibe. Thank you, and welcome to the channel. And then last one is from me again. And then I said, just realized spent 50% of the video answering comments and the other half actually walking you through the code. Gonna restructure future videos a little bit so that the comment is placed at the end and the demo and walk you through is at the start. Yes, thank you for that, past me. Yeah, so I yeah, I think that's why I'm doing this right now, is so that I guess I don't bore people who doesn't really care about what my response is for the comment section is. But yeah, so I moved everything at the end of the video, so comments at the end, and then content at the beginning. So hopefully this helps everyone else that's watching this video just sift through and skim through my content. Yeah, so that's about it. That's all the comments. So in the next video, I'm gonna be showing you guys the captain script. And then after walking you guys through the captain script, I'm gonna be showing you guys, I guess, the next steps from progressing the game after this, because I am at level 2929, and I already finished the flight.exe requirement. So if you finish it, it looks like this. We will contact you, Daedalus, and then you get an invite. And then yeah, and currently just grinding through this. So yeah, I guess I'll see you guys in the next one. Yeah, bye.